Okay, we're back. I want to do another topic, and really, I'm not talking about I'm talking about Africa in general because this pandemic has not only it's sort of brought things together for other African nations. African nations been doing so, or the let's say the powers that be are fighting. You know, the European powers are trying to do stuff. They're saying, wait a second, how come Africa is not really affected like this? European powers. I mean, whatever have you.
Yeah,
What's your read on that? What's going on that level?
with, with, with the continent, the rest of the continent.
Yeah. Because
Uh,
there's
just a second.
supposed hotspots. There's hotspots for COVID. We call it the Rona here. The hotspot for Rona. If you look at this spot, it was always like for instance, yeah, South Africa. But when they say South Africa, they really mean the centers that have airplane travel. You know what I mean? They have that have commerce. It's
Yeah,
oh, you see what I'm saying? But other areas are not affected.
yeah,
Maybe because of isolations, whatever the really reason is. So it really is about who the virus moves with people too, but it spreads faster with people, even though it's supposed to be I guess in the air or whatever it's supposed to be in. I don't know or whatever it is. What's
yeah,
happening with that? Because the biggest economies, of course, is South Africa. You got what Nigeria, and if you look at the map, it's in these places where you get business happening. You get international travel.
yeah, yeah. Well, what's happening now with us is like because they say South Africa has got a new strain of the virus. Because it's got a new strain of the virus, the British are blaming it on South Africa that came from South Africa. But
Are
the
they
British
lying?
have picked up one strain and then now the new strain.
Uh,
So now
The British, what
they
England,
travel.
the British are actually saying it came from Africa. They lying, them lying white people.
I know.
Why why couldn't it come over? Why couldn't it come from Germany or France? They're lying. They're lying. Oh.
Yeah.
They don't
No,
blame
exactly.
Russia.
That's what
Russia's closer, or China is closer to England than Africa is. I don't want to hear it. Then South Africa is no, them lying, whatever.
yeah.
Oh, I can't believe that.
That's
This,
what yeah, that's what they've been saying. So we are banned from traveling to England and I think even to the EU, to the European Union. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
okay. Let me get this right. Let me get this straight because I remember Africa first said, "Hey, Europeans can't come down here," and now they're trying to reverse the thing for a blame game. Oh no, yeah, they.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get back to South Africa. I was thinking it's earliest now I can go in February, but now all this thing, I don't even know what's going to happen. Ah man, this is terrible. I can't believe my bad luck
Yeah.
with all this stuff. Let me keep on with this.
Exactly.
As you know, they're trying to do. No, the vaccine is the big thing right now. Now I have a little bit of bona fides in medicine, but more importantly, I know what kind of medical people to listen to, And of course, I ain't listening to no doctors, I'm really, well, you listen to doctors on the front line, but also it's the researchers or whatever have you. Now, the new kind of vaccine, this is a new virus. The latest thing is this new kind of vaccine they're trying to give is not really, it's not really the, usually vaccines used to be you take the strain, you take the live bacteria, you basically make people sick or whatever have you. But they have another thing, they're trying to trigger some responses in the body. So this vaccine is a little different. And people that don't want to take the vaccine or whatever have you, it really is they're going on information about past things, especially with black people with Tuskegee experiment and a bunch of other stuff, even with AIDS or whatever have you. It's a different kind of thing, a different way they want to approach it. Of course, everything is
Yeah.
experimental. So
Yeah.
the problem is when this vaccine comes out, unless they explain it thoroughly so people can understand, they won't understand it, which is where media
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
in.
No, no.
Now you're a media person. What's going on with the media? How come the media are listening to politicians and idiots rather than going to sources? Come on, tell me why the media is so lazy? That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah. The thing is with us, I think the problem is sometimes the media. there's certain levels of embeddedness on the part of the media. Embeddedness in the sense that there are companies that sponsor, whether they're involved in health research or health provision, but who sponsor or who you find the ownership networks are so intertwined with media ownership that then the result is that the journalists either would not critically question, stories that they put up, or there's a fear that you will jeopardize the advertisers and that kind of thing. So the money, the revenue generators and that sort of thing. So there is this conundrum that we're caught in. Then on the other side, there are one or two media that tend to take the other extreme as well. So for me, what has been concerning is that, for instance, my colleagues at university, they seem to think that when people question the virus, why they must, vaccine, sorry, not a virus, why must they take the vaccine? Because people are naturally suspicious, because given historically where they come from and that they've been experimented in. We talk about Tuskegee. We haven't even talked about apartheid and the biochemical laboratories that apartheid had set up, to experiment on black people, HIV, and there's a whole lot of that kind of stuff that's never been dealt with in a truthful way within the context of the DRC. So now you have and black people, when they were at the height of apartheid, they're only people that administered medicine in their residential areas were white people, and they were invariably members of the national. They were intelligentsia of the Nationalist Party, or part of the machinery of the Broederbond. Mm-hmm. So experimentation, whether it is in terms of dealing with birth control and whatever. So we have a history which is not good, and in that context, then you bring in a vaccine, and for journalists not to understand that and not to and to just see it as simply that there's denialists versus the science. So it's science and it's denialism, it's science. I think for me, it's not taking into account the complexity of the situation, and so therefore there is that level of laziness, because there's a need to go into people and even understand people's own understandings of vaccines and how vaccines have been used to control them, in the past. And if you have to overcome this, if you have to deal with their openness towards this new vaccine, you have to be as open as possible.
Well, I'm not gonna. I always have answers. You must know this by now. They might seem whacked out answers only because I think they're like so far in the future. People don't understand what I'm talking about. Here's my answer to that, because one of the big things, because one of the faces of these vaccines is Bill Gates, and people, Bill Gates is hated. People don't understand. He's hated. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think the way to do this is simple as that. You have to there's going to be a profit that's made from these vaccines, whatever have you. You have to take portion of that profit and that money and give it to the people. You understand? In other words, but what we see, especially, if we're talking about what I call these days ADOS, American descendants of slavery, we're always on the bottom and we're being preyed upon. I call it the downtrodden. The downtrodden is always being preyed upon, and they look everywhere to take the resources, to take any kind of income, any kind of any kind of finance out. Well, you have to turn that around. So you say, oh no, you can't have. I'm just going to put some numbers. You can't have 100% of the profits. I'm sorry, but you can only have 10%. The other 90%, that's going back to the people for what we need to do. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, the profit motive has to be taken out and given to the people who need it. That's my solution to that in a nutshell.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on. You're spot on. There's no other way. I mean, that you're so spot on, when Sloan, because that's the only way to kind of deal with this situation. And also, it's a recognition of the fact that we cannot do. It's not business as usual.
That's the
Now
point.
we have to think new ways of doing things, and I think for me that's quite critical. For instance, I think it was a few days ago, I read somewhere, I don't know whether it's fake news or it's the real news, but it says that Bill Gates was propagating the idea that governments must indemnify the vaccine companies. So in the event that, for instance, something goes
Yes.
wrong, then
Yes.
the government indemnifies that, which for me even raised more suspicion that what the heck, if the government have to indemnify you, what are you doing with your profits that you generate out of this? So it's that kind of thing as well, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Okay. Well, listen. I don't. Whew, man, just tell me, how are you, man? How's the family? What's going on? How y'all are faring with all this stuff? What's going on?
It's all right, man. Yeah, we just had a lunch now, and the only thing is Uki, who is self isolating because she gives a lift. She's got a lift club with a couple of friends, and one of the friends contracted COVID. So, and then she had to go and test, and she tested negative. So she's busy now, kind of treating undergoing treatment. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
So
forgot. I forgot about that, dude. South
yeah,
Africa has a very bad situation because of transportation situations. You have to, for lack of a better term, ride share. All taxis is like ride sharing, and of course the culture means that you have to rub up on somebody. You know what I mean? Isolation is not a very good, and then just the whole socialization. How is that impacting the society? Let me put it that way.
yeah. No. With us, it's been the taxis have been one source of transmission. The other one has been the funerals where people gather to bury, and then the third one was the churches. So
Oh, of course.
and of course, I mean, chickens and taverns and so
I
on.
was about to say, if you say churches, you might as well say Shabeens also. In fact, I would put it. And and then when people get inebriated, they really go, "Oh, this is my friend. We'll get sick together." Whatever. They'll come up with some cute thing to say. Again, you're in media. How do you not convince? See, part of my problem with this is that, okay, vaccines is one thing, but building the immune system is another thing. Now, remember, here is at least most areas. Well, I live in a rural area, so it's a different thing because we have nutritious food. But when now you got people eating all this processed food, which can't help your immune system much. There's no access really to supplements. I guess you can. I mean, how many people got a moringa tree growing in their backyard? You know what I'm saying? It's not possible to get the stuff that could boost the immune system. Elderberry and vitamin E and all the rest of this stuff. Well, it's still not affordable to the general populace, and of course nobody's pushing that. Everybody say social distance mask, whatever it is. So I just, man,
No, definitely. This is the thing but they are, Sloan. There are initiatives like in Makanda. There's we're now working with communities there. The initiatives around dealing with crime at the street level. I went to visit in fact, I didn't go for a regular visit. I was called. It was an emergency. They said I must come over. Another relative of mine called me, and then I rushed through there. When I arrived there, they had some kind of minor squabble, family related. Two siblings having a problem. Whilst I was busy attending to that, there was another sibling who came into the house and went out. In fact, he's the one that I met outside. As I was coming in. and he came out. Came in, and once I was there, and then he said, no, he's coming back now. He's going across the road, and he went. As soon as he had left the house, in a matter of a few minutes, we just heard whistling, the bells, the whistles, the whistles for
the police.
refereeing matches and so on. Yeah, that the police use also. But they were whistling but it was residents, and they were whistling and they were mobilizing, and I knew that there's something wrong. So, and they came closer to the house, and he came into the house, ran straight, and as soon as he ran into the house, he said, let's lock the door. I said, no. I mean, how do you lock? You can't just lock the door without knowing what the hell is going on. Because I locked the door, then people kick the door, open and whatever. So I sat in there, I closed the door. I said, close it, don't lock it. You must sit there. What's going on? And he wouldn't tell me. He said, no, they are after him and this and that. His story was not together.
Mm.
Then I said, hey, you must sit there. Because if people come in, they will ask, they see that we are, calm and we're sitting down. They will ask, they will send one or two people because that's what we want. And I will deal with them when they come into the house. Then eventually they were marching up and down because they thought the door was locked. They're marching up and down in the house. They're swearing, man. They're swearing at him and whatever. I asked him again, what happened? And then it appeared that he had broken into somebody's house. But I didn't even get that story from him until I called the police because I knew that these people are going to get angry and they're going to come into the house. Then they will kill him. Because then now they're not going to, from what I'm hearing them swearing, they're not going to stop if I try to talk to them. So I called the cops, look, can you please come, send somebody urgent. The cops came, then this chap had broken into a woman across the road, a house, and she was a leader of that group. She sat down. When she came in, she sat down. She was very respectful. When she saw me, she apologized. She didn't know there was an elder in the house and so on. Apologized for swearing as well. Anyway, then the cops, they explained, and this chap basically, he's been troublesome, even at our house, at my relative. He's always troublesome. So to cut the long story short, it was for me a beautiful organized citizen action to deal with crime.
This is interesting.
And so when the cops were saying, look, they can't do anything, I said to them, no, you can do something. You can take this chap away with you to the cells, at least so that he sleeps there. Because if you leave him here, I know the law says that you can't arrest him, but if you leave him here, he's going to be killed by people here. And there's a process that he's supposed to go through with the law and so on. And this woman, she also already said that she doesn't want to have him sleep here because she'll feel unsafe at the house. So take him away. And they took him away. So that's one. The other one is the community in several streets there. They went out, they picked up all the rubbish, and especially in the Eastern Cape, there's a problem of plastic bags, that people throw everywhere. PE is called the flower of the nation because it's always everywhere. It's decorate the whole area. So there, they picked up the plastics, they pick up the dirt, they pick up everything, they clean their streets. They were just doing the street by street. All the people of that street would clean the street. Then they said, we've cleaned now the street. We don't want anybody to mess up the street again. If they do, we'll deal with them. So there are those initiatives. And for me, that's a hope for the future. That's where we should be really focusing all our energy. So for instance, the area on the life you were talking about, for me, those kinds of initiatives could assume a central role. It's like informing them. I think the role of the students now is to have sessions where they explain how LIFA works and let the citizens then see how we can make use of and exploit this possibility, for development.
This is very interesting. I don't know if you understand this exactly. You don't see it when I'm with you, whatever. But I'm incredibly hooked up to the spiritual world. Let me put it that way. Let me just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But what you just described is exactly what we're doing in Dimbaza. I need you. I don't understand why I can't get you and Miss Slowly to talk to each other. Y'all got phones. Y'all need to talk to each other. The exact scenario that you just said, we've been dealing with in Dimbaza. In fact, the Bazas basically they've neutralized their police department. They don't trust. The police department is part of the problem. The police department is hooked up with the gangs, with the criminals, and so they do the same. They just apply their own justice. What I'm trying to say is that it's like it's in the air. It's a spiritual. It's in the air, and I think it could be worldwide. But let me just keep. It should be a Southern African wide, where the local things, the villages take care of it. And so I'm hopeful. I just need y'all to start talking to each other. I'm hopeful. Let me give you let me give you a newspaper a story I heard a few years ago. There was this area in a village or whatever, this area in Mexico, and I know the area because it's run by women. It's very interesting because what they did was they got rid of the politicians and the police force and the gangs.
Yeah.
And they're fine. Think about that.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Now here's the thing. No, here's the thing. When I go back to my own childhood in the South Bronx, in the Mott Haven section of the South Bronx, when they intentionally, and this has been documented, they intentionally let the drugs come into because the gangs they were afraid that the gangs were going to be politicized, because usually our gangs, it was a turf thing. We're protecting our turf. You know what I mean? You can't just come into our area. So you had to go through the gangs. And you have that in Cape Town. You have that other places, right? But here's the thing. Because the powers that be were so afraid because of, Malcolm was around at the time, James Baldwin, there was the Northern movement wasn't like the Southern Leadership Conference. That's the Southern Christian movement. No, the North was something else, right? And so they were afraid. So what happened was the Italians, with the drugs, and the police. Remember, you have Italian people on the police force, and the politicians all allowed the drugs to come in to the South Bronx and also the Lower East Side. They figured this was contained areas, right? And so those three entities, the same thing: the politician, the gangs, and let's call it the police, or whatever you want to call these people, FBI, CIA, whatever you want to call them, allowed this to happen. Of course, when it gets out of control, they figure out other ways to keep on preying on the community. So I'm suggesting this. I'm suggesting that in every scenario, as far as historically, as far as I can see, and also I can see all places I've traveled in the world, it's the same thing. The politicians get paid off by whoever, they get paid by whoever, and there's three entities that destroys the community, and you have to bridle these three entities, or get rid of them, or something like that. I don't know what it is, and you can see it clearly. If you can see it clearly. So I don't know. What can I say?
Okay. No, man. Yeah, no, so man.
So I'm glad. So I'm wondering, there should be other areas. If, like I say, this is in the air, that means there's other areas all throughout the world, in Southern Africa and the rest of Africa, that have the same thing. Small communities are dealing with their own crime. Their own criminals, and that's the way it should be. Maybe I'm wrong with that. So anyway, so look, Sheppy, I don't want to keep you long. Yes, I do want to keep you long. I can talk to you, but I want to talk some other political stuff, but not right now. Oh, I should ask, do you have any questions for me? Hey, maybe I should do it that way.
No, at this stage, it's just otherwise, are you guys, how is the COVID situation there? I mean, is it a bit better now, and the transition to a new regime, so to speak?
Oh no! Don't even think about no new regime change. Look, let me put it this way: you had Donald. Everybody's so interested in Donald Trump. I'm going like, you idiots, right? I'm going, you idiots. I have no idea what you're getting with. I call Biden. Donald Trump 0. Donald Trump 0.5. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Biden is Donald Trump 0.5. Now check this out. Harris, the new vice president, she is Obama. She is Obama 1.5, right? I say 1.5, and Clinton 2.0. Or something like that. Let me make it easier so people understand it. I call her Obama 2.0 and Clinton 3.0. So we in trouble no matter what. Okay? Forget the political thing because they don't run things anyway. They just and you know they hide. There's this whole there's this whole political thing that's happening. I have to take another time with this because it's going to take too long for me to explain the situation. But you know, it's all facade. It's all facade. What they call identity politics is really bad now. You know what I mean? Because they put all kinds of women and black faces in places. And you look at these people, you say, wait a second, this might be a black person, but this person is worse than this person. This might be a woman, this person is worse than this person. And they put in positions of power, and it's just not going to fly. And I have this other thing that I've got a new term. Okay, I got a term for you. I invented a new term, okay? Hey, you ready for this? Okay, now you know you have what's called you have the neocons, right? The neoconservatives, right? So-called new conservatives, you know, and they do all kinds of, you know, retrogressive things. Call them, you know, retrogressive things. And you could just say that basically I call them fake conservatives. A real conservative wouldn't be doing neoconservative. Then you have to call the neo liberals, right? The neo-libs, right? Again, they're supposed to be liberals, but they're fake liberals. They don't have the tradition of a real liberal, right? Not from where it comes from. They've gamed the system. Here's my latest one. Neo-pros for neo-progressives. Neo-progressives. You know? And these are people who put that progressive label on, but they're fake progressives. So you got so basically the neocons, the neo-libs, and the neo-pros are our new enemy. Enemy of what? Enemy of the peoples. Let's say it that way. So they make no difference to me at all, because as long as this whole economic factor is in the thing, then we have a problem. You know? Let me put it this way. There's this new film that's out, you know, on Netflix called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, right? And I don't know, you go to my YouTube channel, I just put up a whole thing on that. And what you realize is that they keep on saying black people on the bottom, black people, and they are on the bottom. But black people are on the bottom economically. Just like South Africa, you know, the people are on the bottom economically. Everything else, culturally, you know, spiritually, whatever you want to say, we're not on the bottom. But because the world is into this economic thing, or I should say this fiat economic thing, then they're the ones that get because with this fiat things, they can control the press, they can control the politicians, they can control this, control that, whatever it is. And there's this, and I need you to, this is a whole other thing. But the economics is about to change because the dollar's crashing, the dollar's going to crash, the whole economic system is going to change. People don't realize this. COVID is really a blessing. And so you really have to pay attention to Bitcoin. That's all I have to say. And when I say cryptocurrencies, not just cryptocurrency, forget that, but Bitcoin, because my thing, now you got me off on something. Bitcoin is it'll be a different paradigm. You have to study yourself. I'm not going to get into it right now. But what will happen with cryptocurrencies, you'll have Bitcoin that will be the worldwide currency. In other words, the dollar won't be the currency. It'll be the worldwide currency. However, they'll be in little areas, like say, you know, in the Eastern Cape. You'll have your own currency just for the Eastern Cape thing. Sure, Bitcoin would be the big thing, but then you have these other little currencies. The way I can explain this easier is that when the Italians fell, right? What happened was, you know, the old currency that the Italians had, the mafia amongst themselves for their own body, whatever, they used the old currency. In other words, when Bitcoin takes over, when cryptocurrency takes over, then you can have your own currency based on I don't want to say it like this, but not based on the rand. But the point is, the small communities will barter within themselves for certain things, but then we have to interact with the bigger society. You use a I'm saying Bitcoin because it's because of the protocol of Bitcoin and all the rest of that stuff. I'm not doing these other currencies because they're all gaming currencies. They game the system with that. So that's my economic head. Of course, I'm not an economic person. I'm just a small audio dramatist, But that's what it is,
Yeah, sure. But it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
So chew on that. Thank you for this. Look, man, I'm here for another day. Tomorrow I go to East St. Louis for just overnight to talk to a friend of mine. I'm trying to work on some theater stuff, some other stuff. Henry Dumas back on the thing, and I've got to really work on that. And then I'll be in Virginia next month. So let me call you when I'm in Virginia. I want to talk to you
Hello?
again. Yeah, hello? You there? Can you hear me? Sheppy?
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, I can hear you now.
Yeah. When I'm in Virginia, I'm gonna
I can hear you, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna call you when I'm in Virginia next month. I gotta talk to you next month, and then see what happens. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. Okay. Take care, man.
Okay.
Take care.
Go well.
And Mali just want to say hi. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, Mali Bongwe. Yo, man. Are you a master musician yet? Are you a master musician yet? What? What's taking you so long to be a master musician? we surrounded you with the master musicians in Cape Town. Your father is basically an academic in musicianship or whatever have you. He has all the records or whatever have you. We send you off to school and you come back. Now what are you telling me now? What's going on?
No, man, Sloan. Yeah.
Tell me, man, what's up? And talk to me. Dead air, man. This is like radio. Don't be shutting up, man. What's going on? Tell me something good. Tell me what it's like. What's the young people? What's the young people going through?
Yeah.
Are you going to be shy on me? Do I have to learn some closer to speak to you? Okay, it's all right. Look, I gotta go, man, because I gotta post this up on YouTube.
But I'm pushing, man, like my flute, yeah. Yeah, I'm pushing some stuff, yeah. I got some ideas, some compositions I'm doing.
Oh, okay, that's good. All right. Well, the composition in what genre? What musical genre? And what musical genre are you working in? Are you doing
Yeah, I'm
jazz?
just writing for some people. Yeah.
Are you writing? But in what genre? I mean, are you creating your own genre? I mean, is this like what is it? What is it? Jazz?
Yes, I'm working with my colleagues, the guys I'm studying at TUT. I'm working some small projects. So if they need help, I'll help them finish the project. Yeah. So we combine different like styles of music. Yeah, like mostly African. Yeah, stuff.
Well, tell me the kind of forms you're talking about. What kind of forms?
Like African music. Yeah.
Look, Africa is
like
a big
jazz and other African stuff. Yeah.
Let's stop. Hey, you know who you're talking to. Hold on. Let's start all over again. Africa is a continent, right? We have a lot of musical forms. Are you talking about the musical forms that come out of the Congo? You doing some freaking. Are you talking about things that are coming out of Madagascar?
Ethiopian.
Ethiopia. Okay.
Yeah, Ethiopian. Yeah.
What other forms? What other people is there working with you?
This guy from Swaziland, Brother Bonks, yeah. He's from Swaziland originally.
Oh, I love Swaziland.
From Swazi.
Yeah.
Yeah. From Swaziland, yeah.
Well, Isitini. You get with the name. It's not Swaziland no more. It's Isitini. Get it straight, brother.
Oh
yeah. Okay, man. Look, I'm gonna have to talk to you separately whenever you get a chance to talk. I know you musicians don't really like to talk. You express yourselves through your music.
Yeah, we don't like, only through our instrument, we express ourselves, We don't like to talk,
So let me ask you something. So when you say you working with people, are you in just composition, or are you band leading, or what's going on? I mean, when you say you're working with, is it just composition, or most of you young people, most of the young people in your category will be working on their beats or something like that. I mean, what do you explain to me?
Oh, like I'm working on beats, yeah, like compositions, yeah, because they use Logic, yeah, to make some stuff, yeah.
Oh, the Logic, the program, the software.
Yes, yeah, they use that. So I just help them, yeah, and stuff, yeah, if they need help, yeah, for certain things.
Well, let me ask you, because you go to a it's a musical school, right, and people coming from all over. What's that atmosphere like? I mean, tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah. Oh, TUT, yeah, it's very nice, Brother Sloan, yeah, I've learned a lot, yeah, from at university, yeah. Like I've learned so much, man, because there's so much talented guys, man. Like there's guys that they come from the rural areas, but when it comes to practicing, they're good, man. They can play like very well, yeah. So there's so much of these guys, yeah.
So they have a lot of discipline,
Yeah.
There's a thing, there's a sort of a release or a joyousness in creating and performing music. And when you're young and you have that kind of energy, you know what I mean? Is that what driving this? Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, that's what's driving them. Yeah, because they finally they have a lot of gigs and stuff. They perform, But most of these guys are disadvantaged, but still they can. When it comes to playing, yeah, they can play like very well, yeah, and stuff. Yeah, so it's a combination maybe of some church hymns that they've listened to growing up, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, one more thing, I can talk to you forever. Also, let me ask you this. Now, there's this famous thing from James Brown when he says, the music industry is music business. So it's like whatever percentage music and it's a huge percentage of business. Are y'all dealing with the business aspect of music also, or what's going on?
Yes, yeah, we have a subject which dealing with the business, yeah. It's called arts admin, yeah. It deals with the business side of things like legal contracts and stuff like that, yeah.
Okay. And my wife is trying to call me. I have to call her back. Okay, man. Let me get off right now because I want to talk to my wife.
Okay, sure.
And I'll talk. Okay, cool, I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks, man. Y'all take care.
Okay, cool.
All right, later.
Yeah, you take care. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
All right.
Later.